3 reasons you need to go to an open house if you are a buyer or a seller. Hi, I'm Michele Replogle, Coldwell Banker Realty, and I have 3 reasons why you need to go to open houses. First, I recommend people go to open houses so they can learn a bit about the property from the listing agent or even from the other people that are in the house. So there are other people that are going to be coming through the house and they're going to be making comments and they're going to say stuff and you're going to go, oh, I didn't see that, or I didn't notice that, or I didn't realize that the house next door was so close to the fence line, or wow, that room could be sunnier if the blinds were up. You know, it'd be good and bad. It'd be all over the place, but sometimes you learn it from other people as they walk through the property. We go on broker tours every week. And we go through the property and we hear the other agents talk and we learn about that property too. So other people can give you good feedback on a property. Sellers, same thing. You could learn what people say about properties when they're in them and kind of understand the buyers as they're walking through what they're thinking about before you go on the market. Number 2, you will have a chance to introduce yourself to the listing agent if you are a buyer. And I have held many open houses throughout my career. Oh my gosh, so many. And I got a chance to meet the buyers many times. And a lot of times I would advocate for them. Hey, I met these people. They seem really nice, really interested in the home. Their motivation for buying this property seems really solid. So I believe that the transaction will go through. And they told me their qualifications. I helped them understand the neighborhood a little bit and, maybe a little bit about even, Santa Cruz, as it were. And it was just, it's a good process. And then I can go back to the sellers and say, hey, I met these people. I don't describe them in detail in terms of all the stuff we're not allowed to, Fair Housing Act, but I, give an idea of what they like about the property and why they might be purchasing it. And it always helps sellers to understand who their buyer is. And they actually feel a little bit better about the sale. So that's a good thing too. I would also tell you that I've met some people that I didn't really think that their motivation was very good, and maybe they might not have been a good fit. Now, that doesn't mean that I went back to the seller and I said, hey, don't take the offer from these people. I've just said, look, if you take an offer from these people, they may have some trouble with the condition of the property. Like, for instance, they may think that you should be putting a roof on it for them, and I know that you don't want to. So there's things like that. But, open houses are a really good way to understand the motivations of the buyer, understand the property. And then third, well, you're going to meet the neighbors. The neighbors always go through the open houses. And it's a really good way to get to know them and understand the neighborhood that you're in and ask questions about, hey, are there a lot of people on this street that like to have late parties, or you might just listen to what they're saying. Like this is a funny story. So just this week I was in a conversation with some sellers and we kind of discovered that the house that I would be selling for them was kind of the house that the other neighbors didn't like the occupants, and they weren't really happy with the people that lived there. And it's so funny because I usually am with a buyer somewhere, in a neighborhood, and they go, well, who's the house or the neighbor that everybody doesn't like? And I'm usually like, we're standing in it, which is just, really, neighbors change. I did a whole video on that about how you've got to be careful to buy based on neighbors because neighbors move. But it's also good to understand kind of the vibe of the street. I talk about my neighborhood a lot. I don't know how you could have gotten so many introverts on one street, but honestly, I think they're collecting here. Not a bad thing. I'm not dissing on my neighbors. It's just a lot of people that are just kind of like, hey, some people are friendlier and hang out with each other more often, but not as a collective. We, our neighborhood parties are very sparse. So the 3 reasons are: you can go and learn about the property. You can also, as a seller, learn about the agent that's selling it. You might like their marketing. You might like them. It's a good way to say, hey, why don't you come list my house? And I like the marketing. I like how you've, kind of directed the open houses, and, you seem close to selling it, or, I've just got to meet you in person. And then the other third reason, of course, is to meet the neighborhood. And maybe if you live in the neighborhood, it's a good way for you to meet your neighbors, or go, hey, I really like their landscaping. Hey, I have a landscaper. It might be good for just connections. So there's your top 3 reasons of why I think you should go to an open house. Please subscribe, like, share, make a comment. Also, I am on Twitter for Santa Cruz information. I retweet everything I see from the local museums, county projects, things that are going on in town, throughout the county and the city. I am on Instagram, just merely showing off Santa Cruz there. Not a lot of real estate information there. And then, of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel where I have almost everything there. Bye.